Episode 177. Gu Ying wasn't the only one knocked down. The other guild leaders, while perhaps not as impulsive as him to offer something as outrageous as 8 full sets of gear. But if even an offer of 8 full sets was rejected in a second, what more earth-shattering move could the other guild leaders possibly pull off? The guild leaders who'd been turned away in line weren't putting on an act anymore. Their cursing was the real, raw deal. They weren't like Gu Yin, especially when it came to complaining about how shameless Zhang Moxiao was. Yet even Gu Yin's outrageous price for 8 full class sets was flatly refused. But upon calming down, he found himself thinking from the same angle as Blue River had when they first met. Could this Lord Grimm have some other motive?
Do you think this guy's got some other scheme in mind this time?
Meanwhile, the other 2 guild leaders had begun their own exchange. This was Nightchill speaking, and his words were directed at Blue River. These 2 were the only ones who hadn't made a move during this major bidding war, waiting to see how things would unfold. Through his veteran mole in Samsara, Blue River got a front row seat to the action. When Cold Night Crossing suddenly asked him this question, Lan River immediately figured that tyrannical ambition was no simple guild either. They probably had their own ace in the hole planted in some other guild. Compared to the other guild leaders, the 2 of them were undoubtedly the most rational, level-headed, and closest in thinking during this bidding war. That's why he'd cross the river at night to talk to Lan River, specifically to exchange information.
Yeah, I originally thought he was playing hard to get to drive up his price. But now it doesn't seem that way. I found out the people he's often with, like Tiang Kie and Yu Zhongmian, are all from the Moonwheel Guild this month. They look like old acquaintances. I wouldn't be so sure about that. This one's called Moonlight Slumber. Back in the starter village, he was supposedly griefed by Lord Grimm, spamming the chat outside the dungeon to curse him out. They only teamed up again later. Is that so?
Night Tide's attention to Lord Grimm, however, came a beat later than Blue River's, causing him to miss this particular exchange.
Regardless, now we finally feel like friends. Maybe this is just a friendly gesture. I see.
If this really was a loyalty play, then Blue River was going to be seriously annoyed. He'd wanted to play his hand that way from the start, but he couldn't pull it off. Now, to see the Moonlight Guild, a guild he'd never even taken seriously, succeed where he failed The frustration was just too much.
Anyway, looks like the Crystal Land record is about to fall into the hands of this Moonwheel Guild.
Lan River had no doubt whatsoever about Lord Grimm's capabilities. The level 28 to 30 dungeon in the Glazed Lands is a dilapidated castle situated right within the Glazed Lands leveling zone. A gang of the most notorious bandits in the Glazed Lands made this place their hideout, turning it into a dungeon. They'd run this dungeon many times since episode 28, of course. However, with a new member like Feng Hoa joining, and to integrate his Spitfire character into the team, some adjustments to their playstyle were naturally required. For an average player team, suddenly swapping out a character could cause some issues, but with a pro-god like Ye Xiu around, any class composition was child's play for him to whip up the most fitting strategy. Swapping out a single member was hardly a challenge for him.
This dungeon run is just a test. We'll adjust our strategy based on how the fight unfolds.
Once they entered the Glazed Lands, Ye Qiu addressed the group.
Don't worry, I've run this dungeon more times than I can count. I know it like the back of my hand.
Fan Hua declared with bold confidence.
Is that so? Alright, I'll take command. No problem, go ahead. Biology 8 o'clock. Cold Mist 10 o'clock. Misty Frost pull the corner ahead. Windward take a right stone window. Just follow my lead and hit whatever I'm hitting.
Wait. What kind of strategy is this?
Fan Hua was dumbstruck. The 8 o'clock direction Steamed Bun Invasion was heading for had 2 thugs. Cold Mist was heading toward 2 thieves at 10 o'clock. while Windward Mist was bound for the So, called Corner Ahead, which was crawling with either thugs or thieves. In total, there were 4 NPCs sitting in a circle on the ground, playing cards. They're already starting. And then there's Mikunen. To get to the stone window on the right, I'd have to pass 2 thugs drinking in the middle. How could I possibly get up to that stone window without alerting these 2 NPCs?
If we don't play it this way, we'll never beat the dungeon record.
Their team's gear can't compare to Blue Brook Guild's current record holding squad. That team's 5 members are all decked out in matching class sets, plus level 30 purple weapon output. That's what allowed them to achieve the current record of 30 minutes, 45 seconds, and 66 milliseconds. The other guild teams accompanying them were equipped at the same level. Their records separated from the top spot by a hair's breadth. This truly is the current limit for ordinary players farming the glazed lands. If Yeshu's team stuck to conventional tactics, they'd never surpass that record. To break it, they'd have to leverage their technical superiority. Just like when clearing Frost Forest, 11 Labs voiced Idaforda Yeshu used his skill to pull off a wave, clearing tactic impossible for ordinary players. That's how he left the other team's records in the dust. If he just played by the rules like any ordinary team, then this top-tier pro wouldn't be any different from your average expert. The final result wouldn't be anything special either. The wind and sand beside them howled incessantly.
That's how you break it. Isn't that just suicide?
Hey, just do as I say. I'll explain while we fight. Everyone go!
As soon as Ye Qiu finished speaking, the other 3 charged forward. Yet, Fenhua remained, his gaze fixed on the 2 thugs still drinking. He said blankly,
Hey, how do I get over to that stone window?
Use a gun rush to get up there.
What about those 2 brawlers?
They won't be for long.
As Yeshu spoke, his Lord Grim surged forward, sweeping his battle spear to draw the 2 thieves at 1 o'clock into his attack. Then he spun around and fired 2 booming shots. The 2 drinking thugs were already alerted. They hurled their bottles at Lord Grim before charging forward.
You're pulling 4 mobs at once.
4 at once. Fenhua was utterly shocked.
When he led the team here, they fought the 8 NPCs in this circle 2 at a time. Now this team, 1 person pulled 2 and Lord Grim pulled 4. And as if that wasn't enough, he sent the launcher to pull the 4 mobs around the next corner. That brought the total to 12 NPCs. At that moment, Fenhua felt the overwhelming urge to just quit the dungeon.
Get moving already. If we're really going for the record, you've already wasted a lot of time.
Yeshu.
His hands never stopped moving.
Lord Grim handled the 4 elite mobs in the dungeon with effortless ease. Fenhua was running mindlessly toward the window, but his camera view was fixed on Lord Grim fighting the mobs. He only snapped out of it when he ran headfirst into a wall.
Use aerial fire to get up there. You're wasting time. The fight has been on for over 10 seconds, and you haven't done a thing. When you're using aerial gunfire, try to hit the monsters with those shots. Don't waste them.
Yeshu instructed. Fenghua's supreme confidence upon entering the dungeon had been utterly obliterated in these mere 10 odd seconds. Lord Grim was fighting 4 monsters single-handedly, while Steamed Bun Invasion and Soft Mist had each engaged 2. Windward Blitz took 1 look and he realized they weren't just pulling the monsters. They were already killing them. They were killing the monsters while simultaneously hurting them in the required direction. Fenghua didn't dare delay. He scrambled to leap for the stone window, but his mind was reeling, his hands trembling. He misjudged the distance. His strength was off, and he jumped only to slam face first into the wall. He slid down the wall like a gecko. Yeshu's heart sank. Fenhua was, after all, a guild leader. He didn't need to be on the same level as Tang Ru or Steamed Bun when it came to mechanics, but at the very least, he should have been as competent as 7th Month or Sleepy Moon. A seasoned player. But he couldn't even jump up to a simple window like this. Could he be a total noob?